Hi everyone, this is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm going to be working in my Me, Myself, and I project. If you are not familiar with this project, I will link the playlist up at the I for you. I am working on, I think, prompt 4 and 5. I will actually work through prompt number 7 as well, like 6 and 7. But anyways, let's focus on prompt number 4, which is something that you miss. And you guys, I miss the beach so much. So I'm going to be documenting the beach and how much I miss it. What I decided to do was add a strip of washi tape just to add some pattern to this beautiful photo. I actually took this photo back in 2019, was it? Or 18, when my family and I went to the Philippines. It was gorgeous. Love this photo and I miss it so much. So I decided to go with it. I think my photo is probably around 4x9, if I'm not mistaken. I just added it to the edge of my layout, and now I'm going to stamp beach using this beautiful Studio Calico Alpha stamp. I also want to keep adding the numbers for my prompts, so what I decided to do was use this newer stamp set from Studio Calico. It's perfect for the Me, Myself, and I project because it's kind of documenting everything about you, and it had a little circle where you can add the number. So I used that to just stamp it on some white paper. I added number 4. I'm going to punch it out and add that to the corner of my photo just to create, I end up creating a little cluster there, but it's just a nice way to break it down between the photo and the paper. Now I have this really old stamp set from Studio Calico. It's all about the beach and spending time at the beach. So what I decided to do was stamp the leaves in different shades of green, trim it out, and use them as embellishments. I even ended up stamping one directly on my page just to add some kind of depth to the cluster I'm going to end up creating. But for now, I'm going to go ahead, stamp my leaves, trim them out, and then bring in my journaling. I just journaled about how much I miss the sand, the smell of the ocean, all that good stuff. I'm going to end up creating a little cluster around my journaling. I decide I'm going to add the leaves next to my title, which I end up changing because I also decide that I want to add my journaling next to my title. So I'm going to move things around. I'm going to end up covering the leaf that I stamped directly on my spread, and that's okay. I even stamp waves right above my journaling, and I'm going to end up covering that as well. You know, you can change your mind. This is not set in stone. It's just paper and stickers and all that good stuff. So, you know, if you don't feel it, if you're not feeling it at the moment, change it up. That's okay. So this is where I end up stamping waves. I keep it for now because I want to stamp like something that represents traveling, because this is me missing the beach. I don't live close to the beach, so obviously I have to travel to get to a beach. So what I decide to do is use a Studio Calico stamp set. It's like all about traveling. And it had this little airplane that said, "Take me away." So I thought it would be nice to stamp it on some white paper, trim it out, and add it to my number 4. And that way I can create a little cluster at the top corner. So even though I'm going to end up changing a little bit more to the spread, I decide I'm going to move on to prompt number 5. And once I decide what I want to do with my number 4 prompt, I can come back and add or fix it, if that makes sense. So at this point, we are working on number 5, which is favorite shows. And I am documenting 4 of my favorites: Handmaid's Tale, Ray Donovan, Rami, and Dead to Me. Those are some of my favorites. I watch a lot of shows. I enjoy watching shows, especially when I'm working. It just keeps me entertained. So I'm going to document all 4. I just created a little collage of my shows, and I'm going to stamp fave shows Now, halfway through, I decided, you know what, instead of stamping the O, I'm going to stamp this circle that says streaming with the play button. I thought it was cute, and I love how that turned out. But I'm going to go ahead and finish stamping shows. And what I thought I would do is just add a little something to my spread. It really doesn't need a lot because my photos are pretty big and my title is pretty bold. So I didn't feel like I needed to add much. But I thought it would be fun to stamp my TV stamp right next to shows where I can stamp my number 5, just to change it up a little bit. I thought it would be cute and also a good place to add my number 5 for my prompt. I have so many TV stamp sets, so I looked through them. I found one that said My Kind of Marathon. I believe this one is from Future Crafts. So I'm going to stamp it on some white paper, trim it out, and use it as an embellishment. Again, I don't want to add too much to my spread, but I do want to add a little bit of color to break down those bold photos as well. I like adding embellishments over my photos and tuck them behind my photos. So you're gonna see now that I grabbed that number 5 to fill out my TV stamp. And then I'm gonna grab or go through my labels to find a label to tuck underneath one of my photos, bring in some more of that red from my photos and somewhere to stamp. So I end up stamping All Booked Up in that label. I will finish up the spread by going through my embellishments. I knew I wanted to add dots, and at first I thought I'll use my Nuvo drops, but then I was like, I don't have time to wait for it to dry. So these dots from one of my kits, my Studio Calico kits, were perfect. I just end up going with that same red, add it around a few of my photos, and call prompt number 5 done. So I guess prompt number 5 is not done because I did decide to add a border around my photos just to make it look more like a collage. So once I finish doing my border, I go back to prompt number 4 and decide to add a little something to that corner that was really irking me and I felt like it needed something. So I grabbed the same stamp set, the one all about the beach and hanging out at the beach, and I end up stamping beach, splash, fun or sun, all that good stuff. And I'm going to bring in more of that green from my leaves and just stamp right over my stamped words. And that way I create this little cluster and I even start moving things around. I end up shifting everything because I go through some of my embellishments and I found a puffy sheet, sticker sheet that had girls in swimsuits. And I was like, oh, I really want to add this so bad. So I decide to shift everything around and move everything around so I can fit the girl with the bathing suit. And it worked out perfectly. Again, I've said this before, it's okay to change your mind. If something's not working for you, move things around until you're happy. Okay, so I really like how that looks, so I can move on to prompt number 6, which is friends. I couldn't choose just one friend, so I decided to choose all the friends that make me happy. So what I decided to do was back up my photo halfway and then add a little strip on the opposite side to give me some space in between to add my title and all that good stuff. I just wanted to bring in some pattern paper to this spread because the photos, there's multiple photos on here. I want to kind of ground it, so I use that pattern paper. And by the way, while I'm doing this, I wanted to mention that 2 of those friends are my middle school friends, known them forever and love them dearly. 2 of the friends are my internet friends that I met through crafting, love them so much. My sisters made it to my little collage because my sisters are my friends. And my 2 friends that I made through my children. It's the best when your kids are besties and then the mothers become besties as well. So I just wanted to document the amazing women that are always there for me and just mean the world to me. But anyways, I'm stamping friend, and underneath friend, I'm going to stamp noun. And then I'm going to grab my alpha stickers and spell out one who listens, doesn't judge, and somehow makes everything all right. And these ladies totally do that for me. So I decided not to stamp all of that because that would have taken me forever. And I have loads of alpha stickers that I really need to use. It's just getting ridiculous. So I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna grab some black alpha stickers and add that. And that way, it's a win-win. I used my stash. I saved myself time, and I actually really, really like how it all ended up and how it turned out. So while I was spelling everything out and, adding it to my page, I was trying to think, what can I add to this spread? And I found it really funny that I did not have a lot of friendship stamp sets. That kind of made me sad. I just had, I think, one or two to choose from, and I end up using one of them. I think I end up using, it wasn't even a friendship stamp set. It's about like women being strong. I end up going through my label stickers, found a green label. I use it to stamp "You Lift Me Up." I go through my chipboard. I'm trying to find some chipboards that I can use from my have-to bowl. I like the little heart, so I end up using the heart. I also go through my die cuts and find a die cut that says "extra special." And this is where I kind of decide that, okay, I might have to shift things around because I wanted to stamp my number using those circle number stamps from Studio Calco, but it's not going to fit nicely right above my friend. So I end up moving the label to the top, stamping number 6 on the bottom, and adding the banner that says "extra special" to my number stamp. So I'm almost done with prompt number 6. I'm just going to end up adding a word sticker to my collage, and then we can work on number 7. So I had a little boo-boo. I mixed up prompt number 7 with prompt number 8. So prompt number 7 is social media, and I mixed it up with favorite apps, which is okay, not a big deal. I already documented it, so I'm just going to have to document social media for number 8. Anyways, what I did was I printed out this large iPhone from Google. I just got it from Google, trimmed out the center, and I printed my apps in small boxes. What I want to do is fill out my iPhone with these apps. I stuck down the iPhone, but I'm going to end up shifting it later on because I just felt like there was too much space on the bottom, like underneath my apps, and I wanted them centered. So I'm going to end up moving my iPhone a little bit to the top, and it looks so much better once I move it. But anyways, for now, I'm going to go ahead and stick down my apps. I also had this vision of like arrows coming out of my phone from the app, and that way I had space to journal what I love about each app and what I use it for. So I found this stamp set from, I believe it's Feed Your Craft. I'm not sure, but anyways, I always link everything for you guys down in the description box if it's still in stock. But I'm going to stamp that, and I'm actually going to use the filler stamp to fill my arrows in red. And I really like how that looked. Just adding the arrows, it looked just so cool. I was really proud of myself. It was like a last minute decision, but it worked out perfectly. And by the way, at some point, I do use my brain and end up removing the iPhone from my layout so I can stamp and fill out my arrows. I don't know why I didn't do it from the get-go, but at some point I do it. So now that I'm done stamping my arrows, I'm going to grab the iPhone stick it down properly where I have space at the top and the bottom. And actually that space is going to be perfect for me to stamp, and I will end up stamping inside the iPhone. But for now, I want to stamp Fave app. I'm using Studio Calco's Tucker Alpha Stamp. Love the stamp set. And I'm going to fill it out with gray. I really like the boldness of the title. I think it matched well with how large my iPhone image is and my apps. I just really felt like it gave that vibe of tech. Anyways, I want to add my prompt number. So I'm going to go back to that Studio Calico stamp set, stamp the circle with the number, and fill it out with number 7. While I was stamping my number, I remembered that I have a Wi-Fi signal stamp set, or stamp from an old Studio Calico stamp set. So I went fetching for it. I was very pleased that it was big enough and bold enough to match my title. So I end up actually stamping it on both sides of my title. I even found a little heart from that stamp set and thought it's perfect to stamp it in red, add it to my number stamp, or my number, and underneath my Wi-Fi signals, and it just added the perfect amount of red to my title. I also found in that stamp set, go where the Wi-Fi is strong, so I ended up stamping it on my iPhone screen, and I curved this stamp that said, "You complete me," because my iPhone totally completes me. I'm going to finish up my spread by adding my journaling, and then I call my layouts done. I really had fun creating in my project today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, I will be linking everything I used down in the description box for you. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.